Hi there. Today we're going to discuss the ban list that recently came out. Now I know I'm a little late to the party, but this is the magic time of year where Micah Capital G says where he was right, where some people got burned for eBaying cars they thought were going to get unbanned and paid way too much. Hi Goyo Guardian. Are you still $30? Probably not. It's also that time of year when half the community is pleased with the ban list and thinks that they could have hit just a little bit extra of things. The other half is the half that got hit and they feel it's a shitty ban list and threaten to quit Yu-Gi-Oh! And then come back the very next week. And then there's that little 2% from maybe leaning one side or the other who are just annoyed because both sides are complaining. But anyways, here we go, my thoughts on the ban list.
Okay, so let's talk about the ban list. First up, we have Zenmaity. Now, I got rid of all my Zenmaity way before the ban list because I'm this thing called smart. Deserved its ban. Play Wind Up Rabbit. Use the effect if you have Factory. Add Shark. Effect on your turn. Add Magician. Play Magician. Use Shark. Magician's effect goes off. Brings out another Shark. Bring out another Shark from your deck. Overlay Shark Magician for Degusto Emerald. Discard the Detached Magician. Shuffle in 3 monsters, 1 being Magician. I don't even know if that's legal, but even if it's not, you can still do it next turn. Or just use something else. Just to put Magician in the graveyard. And then on your next turn, you could just do Magician Shark again. So you're still going to spam if you have a Zenmaity. It's just going to be really slow. Next on the ban list is Sagan. And I feel this is more of a hit to Rabbit. If you play Rescue Rabbit, your best out, if you had a bad hand, was Tour Guide Sagan. Okay, pass. Now you can't do that anymore. So the deck got hit with this. Other decks did too because Sagan is splashable and everything. But I feel that Exodia and Rabbit got hit the most. And I guess it was for good reason. Okay, to 1! Wind Up Magician. It was the combination of Zenmaity Carrier and Magician that hurt the deck because now you don't have those Xyz turn 1 spamming plays. The deck does lose a little consistency with this gone to 1, but you can still search it out with Rabbit and Factory pretty easily. Both of those are at 3. Both of those were ran at 3. So it didn't change the build that much. Magician did need to get hit. It was Magician or Shark that needed to get hit to 1. I feel like they did the right thing. They completely killed windups, which is the right thing at the end of the day, but they did the right thing for leaving the deck a little bit of playability. Next, we have One Day Apiece. I don't know. I myself never had a big problem with One Day Apiece. I'd always just set up for a 1-turn kill while they did this card, and they would just never draw that final piece, or they would never get enough time for final countdown. You can still use things like Battle Fighter and Swift Scarecrow. Solemn Warning was the last, and I think most controversial hit to 1. While I do agree with it, because there's plenty of other destruction cards, you know, a lot of decks, though, were only running 1 copy of Warning and 1 copy of Judgment, or they were running just 2 Warnings and no Judgment. So this card being limited to 1 isn't as bad as you think. It hurts Rabbits a little bit, and it helps them at the same time. It hurts them that they lose a pretty much guaranteed negation for a summon your opponent's going to do. They're going to try to bring out a Blackluster. You play this, then you never have to deal with Blackluster again. On the flip side of that coin, now they don't have to worry as much about Lagia just getting warnings. If you try to bottomless Lagia or something, they can just negate and keep their 2400 beater. This card isn't the biggest of deals to be at 1, to be honest with you guys. You can do a lot of substitutes with it. Just throw in a Bottomless, just throw in a Compulse. Book of Moon. Well, nobody runs Book of Moon. Why don't you run a Book of Moon instead of this? Shemmied. We have Thunder King. Thunder King was a direct shot at Rescue Rabbit. The Rescue Rabbit was the only deck I can think of that ran 3. Yes, other decks that ran 2 could side into 3rd against Prophecy and Mermail. But really, it was Rabbit that got hit the most. If you were running Rescue Rabbit and you weren't running Abyss Dweller in it, you probably should now because you just have that one less thing. Rescue Rabbit could probably put in Mind Crush, which we'll talk about soon. Or they can do some Hydro Get-Ons. Hydro Get-On instead of saying again instead of Thunder King, instead of Warning. Because at least you have not only is Hydra good on water, so it can be used with Abyss Dweller, but it's also Dinosaur, and it kind of helps you draw into some more dinos. You're going to need a little bit more options with dinosaurs now that this is a semi, but for the most part, it's not the worst semi in the world. Most decks only ran 2 Thunder Kings to begin with. The next card that got semi-limited is Tsukuyomi. And Tsukuyomi, I'm at such a weird place with her because I feel like she's an underrated card. You can run 2 Tsukuyomi at 2. So my suggestion is you can run 3 Nobleman of Crossouts, 2 Tsukuyomi. Guys, that's pretty consistent. You can flip your opponent's monsters face down every turn in Nobleman of Crossout. Lightsworns, especially. Lightsworn. Okay, Lightsworn, this is a good card in your deck. And I know you're not seeing it right now, but it combos so well with Ithrin. Play Tsukuyomi. Have Ithrin on the field. Flip something face down with Tsukuyomi and attack it with Ithrin. You're not going to set off anything. Nothing gets set off by getting returned to the deck in most cases. And those that do don't even have good of effects. Like, it's a completely waste of a splash. Try Tsukuyomi at 2. Just try her. Every deck should try her at 2 with some Nobleman of Crossouts. Just run 2 Tetsuki, 2 Noblemans. Just try it. Empty jar decks, you got a boost with this card. This is a really... She's just a good toolbox card that kind of got a little outdated, but I feel like if you just have a little tweaking, like if Yu-Gi-Oh! Players experiment, you'll find Tsukuyomi to be a really good asset. Finally, we have Done, which in my opinion just means they weren't broken enough, that Konami doesn't care about them anymore, and you could just... They're done doing whatever they did. I decided to put up 3 Spore as a tribute to the stupidness that was Spore ever being limited. This card can only be used once per turn, this effect. Yeah, so what? You can mill it in plants, but even then, it was just this mediocre card. You could always just 1-for-1 it. Spore, congratulations, buddy. You were never broken. I have 3 copies of you. I'm still never going to use plants. Okay, so here's the real ones that actually matter. There's Kalut that also got Done, which is a good card actually. It you discard it, you increase Blackwing's effect attack by 1,000. Sweet. But you know it's not gonna make Blackwings any more playable right now. Okay, Lumina Lightsworn. I kind of wondered why it was a big deal for her to be at 3, and then I read online, you can go Lumina, use Lumina's effect to bring out another Lumina, use that Lumina's effect to bring out a Garroth. Lightsworn, I don't know. They might do it. A lot of people are kind of underestimating them and putting them in kind of the same corner as Blackwing. I think Lightsworn might be able to turn this format around. They might be able to come back. They might make themselves a nice tier 2 deck. I don't think they'll be tier 1. Tier 2? Yeah, they could make it. We have Mind Crush. Now, Dark World's actually get a boost from this card being at 3. You have to look at this. This is one of 2 cards in this unlimited list that Konami made as counters to tier 1 decks. See, Mind Crush isn't just about Mermail. Mind Crush is also about Prophecy. If you gotta understand, they can't hit Mermail or Prophecy yet. Those are brand new decks. Prophecy is so broken right now, but they can't touch it because it hasn't come out here yet. They need to make their money first. So they said, okay, Thunder King has to go to 2 because of Rabbit. I mean, we'll unlimit this. Use it against Prophecy. When they reveal for High Priestess, just call one of the cards that they revealed, or just call High Priestess. This really helps Dark Worlds out. I think Dark World might make themselves tier 1 again with this card. Just because they'll, you know, Mind Crush. Okay, I call wrong. I get to special summon my Dark World monster. I call right. There goes your plan. Okay, so Sheen's Smoke Signal is probably the most controversial. Were you around when 6 Samurais were tier 1 and you hated it? Well, screw yourself. They're back. They might not be tier 1, but they're going to be able to play with the big boys now. They have the consistency. They can run less monsters because now they have 3 search cards. Just for the hand, by the way. I'm not counting Gateway. I'm not counting Sheen's dojo in that either. So, you're Konami, you have Prophecy, you made a mess. You know you were bad. You made something that goes +4. What do? You can't hit the deck. You haven't made your money on Prophecy yet. You can't hit that deck. That has to come to TGC first and be here for a while. At least 2 formats before that gets neutered. Just make a tier 2 deck that countered them tier 1 again. Make Sam's good. Samurai can now counter Fire Fist, Prophecy. And to a lesser extent, you know, they'll get they have a decent matchup against Rabbit if they go first. They can make Heroic Champion Galaval or whatever, who gets rid of Special Summon level 4 monsters. They can also make Roach. You know, Samurais, they got some decent tricks, and this just kind of bumped them up. Like I said, they'll probably be a tier 2, 1, lower 1, high 2 deck. I'm really pleased about this card. I think it was kind of it was just out of nowhere too. There was no Samurai support forever, and they're just like, you know what, here. So, you know, a lot of tier 2 decks got helped out this format. Really, I think the sleeper, the thing that's going to be tier 1, no one's going to expect is Dark Worlds. Dark Worlds are good counters against Fire Kings. They're good counters against Mermail. They're a good counter against, well, pretty much anything. And now they have a good hand disruption support. They have better hand disruption than they had before. That says something. If Dark World starts playing Eradicate Epidemic Virus, I think that they could actually just kind of have it all over Prophecy. Yeah, it's harder to get out, but it's just harder. It's not impossible. You know, you make yourself a little less consistent, but you get an instant win. That's just what I think about this ban list. I'm kind of happy they didn't hit Blackluster Soul Jam for the beginning. I was afraid of that card getting hit. I don't think that card deserves to be hit because none of the decks it runs in is currently they're tier 1, but they're not high tier 1. You know, Chaos Agents is a bad deck. I don't know if you played it. I tried it. I hated it. I've been an agent player forever. I like the Christie build far more. And Chaos Dragons, the biggest problem with Chaos Dragons I have is they go Shockmaster, they call spells or monster effects. You're kind of done. You got like, you're already playing with just 2 sets of cards. Those are my thoughts on the ban list. I think this is a good ban list. I give it a B+. You know, they could have hit Mermail a bit. I really think the deck should have been just, you know, just hit a little bit. Rabbit got hit a bit. The Rabbits are still going to be tier 1. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't think Rabbit's going to be able to compete as well anymore. I think it will. Rabbit's just fine. At the end of the day, it's not going to shake things up too much. It wasn't in an unbalanced format. Even Mermails have some bad matchups. Dark Worlds got better. 6 Samurais got better. These 2 decks, you know, Dark World Sams, they're going to help balance out the format. So, we'll see. Okay, bye.